Okay. Blessings. Tonight we're going to go into herbal education and herbal medicine. Yeah. Now, in every environment, there are herbs that people use for healing. Yeah. Tonight we're going to talk about plants from the Caribbean, and especially from Grenada. Although different countries in the Caribbean give plants different names. So we're going to just give you the names that is used in Grenada and maybe Jamaica. Trinidad might have a different name, or St. Lucia and Dominica, all the Caribbean countries have different names for these plants. But tonight we're going to concentrate on Caribbean plants, because there are lots of plants in the Caribbean countries that is very significant and do have scientific evidence. Ginger have scientific evidence from the German Commission. Cinnamon have scientific evidence. Aniseed have scientific evidence. So don't let no one tell you that plants don't have science. It's just that they don't want to reveal the science that the plants have, because we know for a fact that they cannot patent these plants. So for instance, did you all know that the herb periwinkle have 88 chemicals? It's found in abundance in Jamaica. And did you all know that it took that same periwinkle plant and make a drug called cisplatin, because periwinkle have 88 chemicals? And they remove the 2 chemicals from the periwinkle plant and give you a chemo drug called cisplatin. But in the real plant, the plant itself that have the 88 chemicals, there's 86 chemicals that they remove conquer the side effects of the 2 chemicals. That's good for cancer. Second plant is called YEW. That plant is used to make a drug called Taxol that they give to people who have cancer. Breast cancer, liver cancer, colon cancer. It's called Taxol. Taxol comes from the plant called YEW. But Taxol suppresses the bone marrow. Yeah? Because they remove these chemicals from this plant. There is another herb that is very significant that they use for malaria. Comes from a plant, it's called, I think, the quinine plant. Comes from Africa. But we don't go into that because, we're going to that's a whole other video. But tonight we're going to talk about Caribbean plants. Although I studied Chinese plants, I studied Western plants, and I wanted to combine them all together, because in herbal medicine, we don't go by just one plant. You see? In herbal medicine, we give you combination of plants, because the plants do different things to the body. So we have to know what is the condition of the individual. One, we have to know what is the energy of the individual, and we have to know if the organs are strong enough to deal with the plants that are stimulating. So we in herbal medicine, if we are right and know how the herbs work, we have to use the herbs to treat the organs in a certain way. So for instance, if you have a weak lung, we have to go to the herbs that deal with tonification. Yeah? And after we tonify the lung, we then use the plants to stimulate the lung tissue so that your lung can throw off the sickness. That's what this plant here does. These are more Chinese plants. And this is for a person who have lung cancer and have a hole in the lung. And that's because of radiation. So what we're going to do now, we're going to put these plants together, and we're going to put some demulcent plants here, some astringent plants, to what? To plug up the holes in the lung while tonifying the lung. And after the lung is tonified, then we use the other therapy called stimulation. After stimulation, we can use blood purification. We can use tranquilization. We're going to talk about those. We're going to educate you all about plants, And these therapies, they're very significant. We have emetic. We have diuresis. We have purging. Yeah, we have sweating for the lymphatic system. But tonight, we're going to just concentrate on the Caribbean plants, okay? All right? Let's go first to a herb called black sage. And this herb called black sage, it is rampant in the Caribbean countries, And there is another plant from the same species, for the Lamacy family, called white sage. And there's another one called red sage. Red sage is more in North America. That herb is used for excessive sweating. It is also used for parasites. It is also used for the lung. Yeah. This herb called black sage, it is found in Grenada because it's black sage. And black sage is very important for cold and flus. It's also good for coughs. Yeah. Especially if the cough is damp. Damp condition of the lung. Not a dry condition, a damp condition of the lung. And it's good for viruses. This herb called black sage. Now, because black sage have lots of alkaloids, don't forget the word, alkaloids. Lots of plants have alkaloids. Chaparral have alkaloids. Comfrey have alkaloids. Guava root have alkaloids. And if these alkaloids are used for a long period of time, these alkaloids can damage your liver, giving you what we call venous disease of the liver. So a lot of people say this herb cleans the blood. That's a lie. No herb cleans the blood. See, there are herbs that go in and they work on the organs that filters the blood. But there's no herb in the herbal kingdom that cleans your blood. That's false information, okay? Yeah. But black sage is found a lot in the Caribbean countries. And it's good for cough, colds, flus, viruses. It's good for all these HSV, HPV, HTLV. If you can mix this up with other antiviral plants like hyssop, olive leaf, St. John's wort, isatis, they will go in and help your IgG and IgM, which is your antibodies, to increase and hold the virus so that your T cells can come in and destroy the virus. So it's called black seed, and it is rampant in the Caribbean countries. Yeah. Next herb. Next herb is called stinging nettle. See this herb right here? This herb is what we call a potassium sparing diuretic. We call it zooty in Grenada. Other Caribbean countries might give it a different name, but we call it zooty. But we call it stinging nettle because it stings you when you're going to pick it. The leaf, you see the leaf right here? The leaf of that plant is a food to the kidney. It feeds the kidney. But it also feeds the kidney potassium. But if the kidney is not working properly and you are in stage 3 or stage 4 kidney disease, you are now limited, you're not restricted. But if you are stage 2 kidney disease, this plant can be used on a regular basis to remove the excessive amount of potassium, but because it has lots of potassium, it puts back the natural amount that the body needs. You see, in nature is something else, It also builds the blood. And it also helps the bones because this plant has lots of boron. And we know for a fact that boron have to guide calcium into the bones. So it's also good for your bones. It is also good for the kidney. And it is the food to the kidney. This herb called nettle leaf or stinging nettle or zooty in Grenada. Yeah? If we mix this herb with nettle seed and another herb called cordyceps, we can regenerate the kidney if the kidney is not in 4th or 5th stage or end stage kidney disease, whereby you can push back up the GFR and drop back down your creatinine and your BUN, blood urea nitrogen. Yeah? So you have to know about herbal medicine, Yeah? Otherwise you'll be limited. Yeah? Stinging nettle. Caribbean countries again. This herb is called latana. We call it sugar dish in Grenada. Yeah? And this herb is very good for migraines, colds, flus, digestive disorders. And if you have diabetes, in the Grenada, for instance, we could use this plant with another herb called curry-papa or coraili. In Jamaica, they call it seresi, because they're bitters. And if this herb can be used with coraili or seresi, it can drop your sugar levels. You know what I mean? If you can mix this with another herb called zeba pick. We call it zeba pick in Grenada. Very bitter plants. And they help to increase your digestive juices, but they can also help to drop your sugar levels. Yeah, if you have diabetes. And if you do have diabetes and you're going to use these herbs, you can also implement enzymes, GTF chromium, alpha lipoic acid, and molybdenum. Okay? Yeah, to help your diabetes. It's called latana, what's called sugar dish. So latana is a botanical name. Sugar, this is what we call it in Grenada. Yeah, this herb have a lot of compounds that help to increase your digestive juices, especially if you're taking chemotherapy and the cisplatin is causing you to lose your appetite. These foods with ginseng can increase your appetite, okay? But you have to know to use the plants together, yeah? This herb is called seed under the leaf. And this herb is very important for when you have in Chinese medicine, we call it spleen qui, deficiency of the blood from the spleen, because the spleen makes your blood and your liver stores the blood. Yeah? This herb here is very significant for that. It's called, see what it's called here? Yeah? Very important. Good for viruses too. And this herb called seed under the leaf is good for your kidney when you have urinary tract infections, if you have kidney stones, if you have liver problems, if you have liver stagnation, if you have indigestion. Yeah? And if you have spleen qui, meaning that your spleen don't have enough energy, this herb here will help the spleen to function what is called seed under the leaf. And it is found in all the Caribbean countries. We just give it different names. Yeah? Wonderful. Next one. This one is called Cutlet. And Cutlet is found in abundance in Grenada. And Cutlet is very significant for circulation. If you mix this herb with ginger and cinnamon, yeah, this herb will move the blood. It's good for varicose veins. And once it's good for circulation, it's going to help the heart. And if you can mix it with, let's say, horton leaf, horton flower, horton leaf, horton flower, horton berries, and fruit, ooh, you're going to give the heart a stronger contraction, and then the heart is going to push the blood to the circulatory system. So that's what this herb is good for. Yeah, don't forget. Yeah, it's called Cutlet. Cutlet. Don't forget, Cutlet. Next herb. This herb is called Bakano. Woo! Bakano is good for cancer. See it here? Cancer. It removes viruses. It is an antioxidant. It helps to remove free radicals. Because we know for a fact that free radicals can, if they are in abundance, can cause cancer because they steal your electrons. And each electron that you lose, your electron transport system become impaired and can't transport your cells where they're supposed to go in your lung to keep you breathing. See what I'm saying? This herb here, called Bakano, is going to help to keep the free radicals at bay, but it's also good for cancer. Cancer. And it's an antioxidant, and it's good for viruses. So all these plants we have in the Caribbean, we don't even utilize them because we know better. You see, because the man coming and bringing his Robitussin and all these NyQuil and stuff like that, yeah? And they even using wild cherry bark now in certain other of the cough syrups now, eh? So they know about herbs, eh? Wonderful. Next herb. This one we're going to talk about is called busy root or cola nut. See? Cola nut or busy root. And cola nut is very significant for people who have anxiety. Yeah? And they can't function. But if we are going to use this herb to balance your stress and increase your energy, we have to use also herbs that act as what we call adaptogens. In herbal medicine, we call the herbs adaptogens. Why? Because these herbs help you to adapt to the stressful environment that you're living in. You see? It's Cassandra berry, ashwagandha, kava, skullcap, if you are depressed. But if you are stressed and you have anxiety and you want to get a little bit of energy, we put a little bit of cola nut, or we call busy, into the mixture. So although you are depressed, mild or moderate depression, not severe depression. Now, if you have severe depression, make sure you see a medical doctor. Yeah? But if you have mild to moderate depression, you can use this herb St. John's wort, kava kava, ashwagandha, schisandra berry, linden flower, lemon balm, skullcap. If there is spasm, and if you want to relax the mind, you can use a little bit of passion flower. If you can't sleep, you can add some chamomile. You see what I'm saying? But with cola nut, it gives you lots of energy. If you are lacking and you have anxiety and the adrenals are weak, if you have weak adrenals, this herb here will help to pick up the adrenals, the medulla of the adrenals, and the cortex of the adrenals, and in the process, it would not make you produce too much cortisol, which is a stress hormone. And if you do have cancer, and your cortisol levels rises, is going to raise your Th2 lymphocyte and drop your Th1 lymphocyte. And once your Th2 lymphocyte rises, you start getting a cytokine storm if you have cancer. And if you have or get a cytokine storm because of the macrophages, that cancer cell will fool your macrophages, and your macrophages will now turn and become a plant for the same cancer cells, and your cancer will start spreading. And when you are stressful now, your cancer will even go higher because now the cortisol level rises. But with these herbs together, they normalize the adrenal function. And while we normalize the adrenal function, we might give you some DHEA to drop the cortisol level. And once the cortisol level drops, the Th1 lymphocyte rise and the Th2 lymphocyte drops. And you start fighting your cancer. And in the process, you get a little bit of energy and your balance. It's called busy or cola nut. Don't forget, busy or cola nut. Yeah? Next one. Last one. We're going to come back again. This is called kojo root. And they call it, in Jamaica, they call it Guinea Hen Weed. Or we call it gully root. Or garlic root or garlic weed. So this herb is called Guinea Hen Weed, garlic weed, or gully root. We call it kojo root in Grenada. See it here? Good for cancer. It's good for viruses. See it right here? Cancer is good for especially prostate cancer. So when a man has prostate cancer, we give him lots of gully root. We give him lots of same thing, or gully root or garlic weed, or kojo root. We call it kojo root in Grenada. In Jamaica, they call it Guinea Hen Weed. Very good for cancer. It is also good for viruses. So when you have HTLV virus, and you have CMV, cytomegalovirus, or you have the cold, which is the virus, it's not only good for cancer. It's good for cold and flus. It's an antioxidant. Yeah? It removes free radicals. And in some studies, they say that this herb kills cancer cells. I say, I'm very going to be honest. I say that your body, your cells, kill cancer cells. Yeah? But you have to increase the function of the NK cells in order for these cells to attack the cancer cells and kill them. And that's what these herbs do. They increase the function of these cells, and in the process, these cells go in and they start killing the cancer cells. You see, it's called, don't forget, it's called kojo root in Grenada, and they call it Guinea Hen Weed in Jamaica, but it's good for cancer, good for viruses. It's an antioxidant, move free radicals. Guinea Hen Weed or kojo root, or garlic weed or gully root. Yeah? And the next one we're going to have again for YouTube, we have another set of herbs on Western plants, and we're going to talk about Chinese medicine. Yeah? So with this, in Chinese medicine, we have to know if the person have a damp condition, a cold condition, a hot condition, yeah, or a dry condition. And that's good herbal medicine. If you don't know the condition of the person, you can use all these herbs. Yeah, you can drink them all day. But if you don't know the condition of the person, these herbs would not work. So you have to know what is the condition of the person if they have lung cancer. You have to know if the lung is dry, if the lung is damp, if the lung is hot, if you're bringing up mucus or not. And then you have to use the herbs together, and you must know which is the main herb. And once you put in the main herb, because of the condition of the individual, you have to know what herbs you're going to use as a supporting herb to support the main herb. And in the process, you're going to put the assisting herb, and the assisting herb will help you to assist the supporting herb and help the supporting herb to get rid of the cancer, the cough, or the flus in the lung, the liver, because it's now supporting the main herb. That's good herbal medicine. You don't just go and mix herbs and drink like that. It don't work like that, you know. You have to know what is the condition, and you have to know which is the main herb. Yeah? And which is the supporting herb. And which herb you can use as the assisting herb to assist the supporting herb and the main herb to kill the disease that is affecting the host. That's good herbal medicine. So the next video we're going to do, we're going to make sure that we show you how to use the main herb. If you have a cough, a cold, a flu, we have liver cancer, colon cancer, we're going to show you how to use the herbs together, because one herb takes too long to work. And that's why we use herbs in combination, formulas. So for instance, we have, see, clear eyes have more than one herb. We have lung, heart, kidney, and spleen meridian formula. It's more than one herb. You see, we use about 7, 8, or 9 herbs. It's according to what's going on with the individual. And then we have what? Fibroid formula. You know, if a woman has fibroids, we have to know how big the fibroids are. If the fibroids are too big, these don't work. If the fibroids are small, the fibroid formula will fix your fibroids, kill your fibroids, will remove your fibroid gland. Your fibroid, sorry. If you have thyroid troubles and you have an overactive thyroid, we have to know we can use herb that act as thyroxine inhibitors if you're overactive, not underactive. See what I'm saying? And if you're overactive, we have to know that we have to use the herbs that act as thyroxine inhibitors, and we have to use foods that also act as thyroxine inhibitors. That's good herbal medicine. Yeah? And we have to know what is going on with the parathyroid. We have to know what's going on with the pituitary gland in your brain. We have to know what's going on with the adrenal gland on top of your kidney. And in that way, we can know to repair your problems. Okay? If you have trouble in the prostate gland, we give you a prostate cleanse. Yeah? But not prostate cancer. If it's prostate cancer, we give you specs. You see? So we have to know. So once we can use the herbs together, and we can know what is the main herb, what is the supporting herb, what herb we can use as assistant herb, the patient or the client will get better and see results while putting you on a program to change your diet and your lifestyle and feeding the organs and the glands and the blood what they need. All right? Blessed love. Next time, we're going to make sure that we put a nice little program together with different plants and show you how to use in these conditions. So we're going to talk about tonification. We're going to talk about stimulation. We're going to talk about blood purification. We're going to talk about diuresis. We're going to talk about emetic. We're going to talk about purging. We're going to talk about sweating. And we're going to talk about tranquilization. It's called 8-method therapy. And you're going to learn, and you're going to go and teach somebody else, because each one teach and give the Most High God all the glory. Blessed love. Give thanks. Peace. All right.